Good morning, guys. Today I wanted to come on and share with you a little bit about a little bit of the story of Trevor Noah. I read this book. It's coming up to about 2 years ago now. Trevor Noah was born a crime, and if you're not too familiar with him, most recognize him as like a political pundit. He was born in 1984 in South Africa, which was still affected by, which was still under the grips of apartheid. Apartheid wasn't abolished until 1994, and he was born in 1984. The title of the book comes from the fact that since they did have apartheid, men and women were not supposed to have men and women of different races were not supposed to have children together. They were supposed to be separate. And he actually had a white father. I think he was Dutch, but I'm not sure. And a black mother. I don't know exactly which country she came from, but they were two distinct. I think actually she must have. I think she was South African, but don't quote me on that. But they were two distinct races, and he was born a crime because he had the two different race parents. And when he was fairly young, in an effort to make money, he began hustling, and he started hustling music and merchandise in order to make money. And that all changed one day when he stumbled upon a camera that had pictures of the people who he ended up stealing from. And I wanted to share with you a very powerful quote from his book. This is from Born a Crime, pages 221 to 222. So it all changed when he got that camera, and he came to the realization that what he was doing was wrong. So I'll just start from it here. It's such a strange thing, but in 2 years of hustling, I never once thought of it as a crime. I honestly didn't think it was bad. It's just stuff people found. White people have insurance. Whatever rationalization was handy. In society, we do horrible things to one another because we don't see the person it affects. We don't see their face. We don't see them as people, which was the whole reason the hood was built in the first place, to keep the victims of apartheid out of sight and out of mind, to keep them segregated. Well, to keep them segregated, that's my little contribution. Okay, back to Trevor Noah's. Because if white people ever saw black people as human, they would see that slavery is unconscionable. We live in a world where we don't see the ramifications of what we do to others because we don't live with them. It would be a whole lot harder for an investment banker to rip off people with subprime mortgages if he actually had to live with the people he was ripping off. If we could see one another's pain and empathize with one another, it would never be worth it to us to commit the crimes in the first place. As much as we needed the money, I never sold the camera. I felt too guilty, like it would be bad karma, which I know sounds stupid, and it didn't get the family their camera back, but I just couldn't do it. That camera made me confront the fact that there were people on the other end of this thing I was doing, and what I was doing was wrong. So, and that's the end of the quote that I wanted to share with you guys. So it really speaks to how oftentimes we'll speak out and we don't think about necessarily the person that will be affected by us speaking out, saying something, unkind, or doing something unkind. But if we're speaking out, generally if we're speaking, there's a recipient. So we always have to be mindful of how our words and actions can be interpreted. And I thought that was a pretty powerful example from his book, and I really wanted to share that with people. Again, I really encourage you to read his book. He's lived a pretty remarkable life, and he's pretty funny there too, so it's interjected with lots of different funny things in here. So yeah, that's it for me. I think that'll be my only video here this morning. So I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.